This show is brought to you by Whatever You Say Productions, starting conversations since 2018.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back to Game Over. I am your host, Kirk. Joined with me today is Ian. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. Now you just threw me for a loop, though, saying now we're in the future, it's Thursday, even though it's technically what is today?
Whoa! How do we do that?
But I think today's Tuesday, right after Memorial Day weekend, but I got you. But I'm doing good, Kirk. Great weekend. I hope you had a good time down the shore. Ready to do this thing.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. Steve, how about you? Did you have a good Memorial Day weekend? He's with us here too.
Oh yeah, I had a great weekend. Got my second round of golf in. Didn't do too well, but I'm getting out there today. So
actual golf or
yes.
Wii golf?
Real golf.
I actually went for the first time this weekend as well, Steve.
How'd you shoot?
Unknown, to be honest, because I have 2 holes I just gave up. But anywhere between I'd say like a 115 shitty game. But it was the first time I played in like a year and a half, so I actually was pretty happy with it. And it was a nice day, so.
Yeah, that's all.
That's good.
Just a nice sunny day out.
Yep.
Getting back on the links. Appreciate that. Nice weekend to be out there. You can't always be inside. That is the best gaming tip you can give is to go back out into the world at some point.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I tried to do with my Switch. I sat out on the patio with the Switch.
That's a win-win.
Enjoyed the weather.
Call that a technicality.
Yeah. Other drinking a Corona on Memorial Day weekend, I felt a little weird.
That's weird. I started my weekend off that way too.
That sounds pretty good to me.
It was great. Don't get me wrong, but
had the Maryland crabs too. You guys missed that?
Ooh, I missed those.
Yeah.
I missed those very much.
With the Corona too, those go down. Were you in Delaware?
Yeah, I was in Rehoboth.
I can't get. Oh, I thought we're not allowed to get too pinpointy.
Hey.
Now they know where he is.
Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, America.
Yeah.
First one to find a picture of Steve, I'll give props on Instagram, and then from there.
Find him. Well, this week, guys, we got a really exciting segment that Sarah is going to be doing. She's on her honeymoon, so we're not recording live with her, but she was able to put a segment together for us because she loves us and we love her. But we couldn't. We tried to get her to disconnect and go on her honeymoon, and she wanted to be here for us. So big shout out to Sarah. Thank you for that. Let's jump right into Sarah Says here.
Wait, that's the Wii music, right?
Yes, it is.
I think was banned from this show because remember one of the first episodes, all the guys were like, and if you want to play the worst games ever, you can go get a Wii.
Yeah, I actually liked the Wii U.
So did I. Oh, well, you know what? That's the boys. We are the ladies. Sarah, what do you say?
Well, today I'm talking about Dauntless, which just came out on Tuesday for consoles. It has been out in beta form for about a year on PC.
Wow, that's a long... Well, is that a long time for something to be in beta, or is that about normal?
I think it's kind of in between. It's kind of a long time, kind of normal. Made a little more normal by the fact that people were able to play it for the full year.
Do you know how many beta testers they had?
I do not.
Usually when I launch a software, I like to have about 50 beta testers, but I would assume they'd want way, way, way more than that to really get the proper feedback. So tell me about this game. Is it like an FPS? Is it OTS? Ew, I sound like a gamer, Sarah. I sound so real. I sound so legit.
You are officially not a noob anymore.
Well, let's not get carried away, but tell me, what kind of game is this? What kind of shooter is it? What's the whole premise? Who are the main characters? Talk to me about it.
All right, so it is an action RPG, which means you get to customize your character and your weapons, your armor, what your face looks like, and then you go off, and it is, I believe, third person. And they use melee weapons such as swords, pikes, axes, hammers, chain blades. So the main characters are really just whoever you want to create.
I have a question. You say melee a lot. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
What does that mean?
That is a physical attack with your hand or something up close and personal. So a sword attack could be considered a melee attack.
Got it. So, okay, but Fortnite would not be considered because I can't walk over to someone in Fortnite and slap them.
Correct.
Oh my god, the cat is here. Hello, Bella. You've already been in an episode of Game Over. We don't need you in another one, but thank you. What's the matter? Okay, good. You sit there. Oh my god, this is, one day. But even the thing is like, even when we do have like a main studio where all of us come together, because for those of you who don't know, typically when we record this, we do it remotely because our team at WISP is spread out all over the world. But I feel like even when we do have an office, we will still have cats there.
Oh, that would make me happy.
Yeah, so I guess we can just expect to hear meowing in the background of every single one of our shows. Anyways, so Fortnite is not melee because you can't walk up to someone and slap them, right?
Right.
Okay. But now I'm confused because you said that like walking up to someone and slashing them with a sword could be melee. Technically, I do that in Fortnite when I'm running around with a pickaxe. What is the denominator here?
Okay, so that I was mistaken. That actually would be considered melee.
Okay, got it. Is that like something that people look for? Are they like, oh, I'm only going to play it if it's melee?
It really depends on the person and the person's play style.
Mm.
For example, my husband likes to shoot things, so he uses the guns in Dauntless, and I love melee, so I use the sword.
What's my play style? Mess? What mess?
You like the snipers.
I do. I love to get high ground. I love hiding in trees. No one can see me. You know what I need to do? In Fortnite, I need to find a bush and then as a bush get in a tree. So then people really won't see me. And then I'll either have a yellow or a purple sniper. Or they have that blue one now too that's black.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. And I'll just scope people out and yeah.
Yeah.
Ew, who am I? Okay. So how many people, because I know there's like billions of people, not billions, but a lot of people are playing this game. They had to get another server. Tell me about that.
Okay, so they announced that they attracted 4 million players in just a couple of days. And as of now, they are up to more than 5 million players.
How much does the game cost to buy?
It is free to play.
What? Wait.
Yes.
Can I play it on my phone?
I don't think it's available for phone.
Damn. Come on. Give me some mobile melee Dauntless action. Well,
gotta get a console.
I know. But I just don't. I want to keep listening to this show to figure out what I want. Like, I've never played on PlayStation ever. I've only been like a Nintendo Xbox person. I do not like Xbox at all. Nintendo, but like N64, like classic stuff, right? Like I could do GameCube too if I had to, but I just don't know. Well, okay, what operates more like a PC? And I'm asking you this because I don't understand iPhones. I don't get how they work. So like what console doesn't work like an iPhone, or is there no comparison and I'm stupid?
There's really no comparison.
I'm stupid. Okay.
No, it's a good attempt to try to understand it. But yeah, they're quite different.
Oh boy.
I find the PS4 a lot more user friendly than the Xbox One.
Yeah, I just couldn't figure out Xbox. Not my thing. All right, so there's 5 million people playing this game. They have 2 servers. Bing bong. That's insane to me. So how big is the map for this game?
There are
How many worlds are there? Ew, who am I?
So you start off in a central area called Ramsgate, where you can connect with all the other online players and friends. It's a social area, and that's where you pick up your quests and upgrade your weapons, build your weapons and armor and other stuff along those lines.
Okay.
and then you go off on hunts. So there's 3 different islands, I believe they are. There's one that is called Terra, which is a bit like a desert, I believe. I could be getting this wrong. There's a Frost Island, and then an island with fire and shock monsters. So you go on this hunt.
There's a
and
fire island. Corben would love to go there. Corben and Fifi can go together.
Yes.
Okay. So can you like seamlessly jump from island to island or like whatever, or do you have to like run through one to get to another? Because like with Fortnite, you're just there. You can drop in any one. It's all on one island, one map. So can you do that here, or is it like Assassin's Creed Odyssey when if you want to go somewhere, you either need to swim or you need to get on a boat?
It's a little different from both of those. So like I said, you start.
fly?
No,
Oh.
there is no flying in this game, unfortunately. But you start off in the city of Ramsgate, and then you go on a hunt, and you get match made with 3 other people. So there's a total of 4 people going on a hunt. You can do private hunts with just you and whoever's in your party. And then you decide if you want to go after a specific behemoth, they're called, or if you want to do a patrol. And then you go off and you do that, and that'll determine which destination you go to. And as soon as you're done killing the behemoth or you finish the patrol, you get sent back to Ramsgate. And then you just repeat it. It's kind of a loop to kill behemoths, to gather materials, to craft better gear and weapons, to kill better behemoths, to craft better gear, and so on.
Got it.
Sounds boring, but they've
No,
made
it
it
doesn't
really
sound
fun.
boring. No. Okay, so then it sounds though like this game, like many games, is a pretty big investment of time and skill and strategy. If one wanted to advance to different levels, is it about the same time span to go from level 1 to level 2 as opposed to level 20 to level 21? And then how long do you think it would take for someone to completely beat the game?
The time span has, like, between levels has so many variables, because you could be a level, like I'm a level 8, so I could be a level 8 fighting a level 3 monster, and I'm going to get less experience from that. So it'll take me a little longer to level up if I just keep fighting those level 3 monsters. But if I start fighting level 5s and 7s, then I'll level up faster.
Oh, wait. A light bulb just went off in my head. Experience. Is that XP?
Yes, it is.
Look at me!
You're learning!
I never thought I would see the day that I would be able to hang out with the cool people that game and be like, so I got a little bit of, I got a little XP and I can level up and it's an RPG and I'm gonna melee everyone. Who am I? So far so good though. Are you and your husband liking playing this game? Do you think it's going to be an instant favorite in the Sarah Says household?
I think so. Absolutely. Already my husband can't stop playing it.
Oh, boy.
He's just playing it nonstop. I've been taking breaks, but I find it very, very fun. It
Cool.
is similar to the game that's out called Monster Hunter Worlds. Basically the exact same premise, but this one is a little more light.
Okay. Who makes this game?
Phoenix Labs developed the game, and then Epic Games published it.
Another Epic Games. I'm telling you, like between Fortnite, which is inarguably one of the biggest games right now, right? And then with the Epic Store, I just feel that they're really pulling ahead, and I'm interested to see how they start to play with, you know, Steam and some of the bigger guys out there. And by guys, I mean companies, not actual guys, because there's actually a lot of women that work in the gaming industry. I don't, you know what, Sarah, like, let's just pat ourselves on the back for a second. I don't think that the gaming industry would be able to run if there weren't women involved. When you leave men to do something, it's quite a tangle. But when you get a lady involved, that's when everyone's like, all right, here we go. Let's work together and make it happen. Well, this is awesome, Sarah. I'm really excited to see if this game, if Dauntless can pull up next to, you know, the classics and really make a name for itself. Like, wow. And, you know, Assassin's Creed and all those different games that have just been a standard for years. I think that it sounds to me like it has some potential. And I think you would agree with me. So let's start our vacation. How about it? And
I have one more thing to add about the game.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a really big deal about this game.
What?
It is one of the first games, aside from Fortnite, that has full crossplay and cross progression between PS4, Xbox, and PC. So what that means is that...
No, wait, I know what it means.
Okay.
I'm learning. Ready? It means that it doesn't matter what kind of a gaming bing bong you're on. You can all play together.
Exactly.
In one thing.
Exactly.
Look at
And then
All
if I go from PlayStation 4 and I had it on my PC and wanted to play on my PC, my character and everything I had earned on the PS4 would be the same.
That's so great. That's smart. See, that's the thing. It's, you know, people like, and you and I know this because you've helped me launch a lot of shows at this company. It's so easy to get amped on something and get excited about something, but you need to make sure that you have answered almost all, if not all, of the needs of your clients before you launch. Because can you imagine if they had done this, but then it's like, oh crap, like, you know, my PC pooped out. Now I have to go on my PS4. Do you know how pissed people would be if none of their weapons, none of their skins, none of their anything that they had earned had crossed over? People would be furious. Now they don't have to worry about that.
Exactly.
Ooh, okay. Epic, we see you. We see you. Okay. That's awesome, though. Well, thank you, Sarah, very much for doing this. Have a fantastic time on your honeymoon. Let's start our vacations. I'm not going on a honeymoon. I'm in a twist that will surprise no one. I'm single, but have a great time on your honeymoon. Let's get out of the way. Let's let the guys come in with whatever segments they are doing. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome segment there. Thank you so much, Sarah, for recording from the past into the future while you're on your honeymoon. Whoa! And one thing that she wanted us to touch on real quick is that Dauntless is going to be available on mobile as well. Something else that she had forgotten to mention, but she made sure to tell you to know about. Yeah. So there you go, Dauntless. Everybody's gonna love it. It's on mobile. Do all the Dauntless things. We're gonna take that and jump right into what is going to be a very fun segment for us today about free for all, and specifically in free for all, we're gonna be touching on MMOs and MMORPGs. Let's get right into it, guys. All right, free for all. MMOs, MMORPGs. Is there a difference? What's the difference, Steve?
Ooh, one's a massive multiplayer online, one you pretend to be somebody, right? Is that close enough?
Yeah. We'll go with that.
I guess you could classify like Battlefield as an MMO because it's a massive multiplayer online, and being that it's 64 players, that would then classify it as that. Whereas something like WoW, where it's, you know, character building, where you're leveling a character, that is more of the role-playing game, massive multiplayer online, where of course the community can be huge, and there are various games out there that have been out there. And I've played a good majority of them.
I was just gonna say we usually like to have a agenda going into each episode, and we share it on the Google Drive, and just out of nowhere I was typing this up and just Steve dumps all of his MMOs he just plays, and there's like 3 pages worth of it. Yeah. Well, maybe that's a drastic. There's a significant amount.
I mean,
Some of these,
enough where it's taken up several line items here, and
yeah. I mean,
some of them I've never even heard of.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, going off this list, Stevie. Let's start from the top, the one that you sent, because actually, I think we all collectively played this one, right? I think
Yeah.
so
Talking
was
about
that.
Guild Wars.
Yeah, Guild Wars. Guild Wars, the original, and Guild Wars 2. I dabbled
Yeah.
with those
So
ones.
when it first came out, it was nice because I think at the time it was one of the MMOs that actually didn't have like a subscription base. So again, you put the money for the retail
Yep.
price of the game, and you could sort of jump right in. I played it a little bit. I know my roommate in college at the time, Jones. He loved that game. He played that a lot. So I didn't really touch on it too much, but I did dabble. I think with Guild Wars 2.
Mhm.
So it was okay. I mean, about free to play, not a free to play game, but for
Not
retail
monthly
online.
subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that we're doing it this segment, because actually to start off the weekend, uh, like I was saying, I started off with the Corona and sat outside with my best man for my wedding. We will call him Goo, is his nickname, and I was trying to give him my pitch for why he should play vanilla WoW, or excuse me, classic WoW when it comes out, and we went down a rabbit hole of he was huge into Guild Wars. I mean, in a big way. And we were kind of talking about the things that make MMOs great. And one of the things that he said was that there's a certain community element with Guild Wars where you have to open, like there has to be somebody who's done something to open other dungeons or areas for other like lower level people.
Nice.
And there was kind of like this, getting a higher ranked person to get you into this zone, and just helping people out. It's things like that I think are what is kind of missing from retail WoW today, the arguably biggest MMO. But what
Yeah.
do you guys think? What is it that I really want to jump into? I really want to jump into classic WoW, and what is it that this new beta that came out is making everybody so just crazy for?
Well, ask Ian. Christ, he's been drinking hard on the WoW juice. Oh my
I've been
God.
sipping it long, sipping it hard. Very much so. But it's funny that you said that too before, Steve, with Guild Wars, because I did forget about that. Because there was no subscription base. It was just like the $40 you bought the game, you were able to play. And I remember back, this is before, like once we go down this whole World of Warcraft rabbit hole, this is again going back to the Ian that was obsessed with Call of Duty, that refused to play WoW because I kept losing all my Call of Duty friends to that game. And basically, I was cheap. We used to call it the poor man's WoW because there's no subscription. So that's why I played it.
That's
It
true.
was a fun game, and then those aspects of it too was incredible. But I just remember Guild Wars was 0 to 20, which was kind of a bummer. I always felt that was
Quick
kind
game.
of a pretty quick game. But again, that's an unsubscription based game where it's just straight out of the box. I mean, you can't really get better than that. So
So
Yeah.
I'd
was it,
say I enjoyed Guild Wars too. I remember that one a little bit more vividly than the original Guild Wars. And I think if I remember correctly, like you can have two different classes. I remember like a necromancer and not a mage, but something cool like that. So the gameplay was sweet. But yes, talking about if you like everything you were just saying, Kirk, I was smiling, and because Steve's reaction is just so perfect. Because when he's all those things you were saying, I could just see Steve's face being like, "Oh, that sounds nice. Like I missed. Like that sounds like it would be a good part of a game."
yeah.
But
Yeah.
see, as somebody like I'll even admit I did not play vanilla, which is now going to become WoW Classic. That's exactly what that game is. They're bringing that whole community aspect back to it. And this is the juice that I've been drinking that Kirk and Goo just hit upon when they were sipping on some Coronas down by the shore. But that's what I feel has been missing from this whole genre of games is I think that the current World of Warcraft, the retail version, as they say, they're trying to appease to too many people, like too wide of an audience to try to be like, because I've been like literally watching so much Asmongold on Twitch, because I mean, if you want to watch somebody who's super weird, but super funny and super entertaining and extremely knowledgeable about Warcraft, I would check him out. Same with S-Fan and Soda Pop and some good guys. But yeah, they're just mentioning that whole point. Like WoW right now is, I think he made a good quote where when they merged with Activision, there was kind of like a rift within the company where it went more like, these are the KPIs and the metrics that you guys need to hit. We need this many subscribers. We need this many people from this section of the world. We need so-and-so growth quarter over quarter. I don't care how we get it. We just need it. Whereas the old school WoW, the original, the vanilla, which is now going to be classic, that was just like a game that was made for, like, I want to say myself, people who like WoW right now
for gamers.
Yeah, for gamers. Like, he made a good comparison as well. Like, WoW was a game that the developers who made it, they wanted to play it. Whereas the developers in retail right now is like, I just think they're getting the work they need to get done, and they don't even care enough to play the game. Steve?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still playing WoW now, so I still dabble. Still raiding 2 days a week. So like you said, community is a big thing when it comes to online games. If you have a good amount of people and a fun crew to play with, I think really any MMO can be enjoyable. Now with WoW, I know at the time they lost during this whole Activision thing with they had a community manager who they ended up laying off, and that really kind of set fire to a lot of the players because, again, this was somebody that had been there in the beginning. He was very hands-on with the community and with feedback in terms of what they don't like about the game, and then they end up letting this guy go. So a lot of people were losing hope, and again, sort of since Lich King, the subscription base has sort of been on a decline, and it has been declining since. Nowadays, when you're queuing up for dungeons, you're lucky if anybody even says hello to you. I think we touched on that last week. It's like a desert. Nobody speaks to anybody except my guild. We still touch base, and there's 15, 20 of us that are still logging on. And even couple days in the week we'll play we'll do the mythic pluses, but just to get them sort of almost like a chore. You just do it once a week, get it out of the way, and then all right, I'm done for the week. So
I think that's the most important point that you said right there, is that all the higher end streamers that are mythic raiders, that are top tier guilds, that's the way that they've been describing it, is that they log on to raid and it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
And I think I will give back to retail WoW. I will give them the credit that they're due, that from what everybody said and what you've said and what I've heard, is that the rating in that game at the higher level is phenomenal right now.
Yeah.
It is something that they've iterated on and improved upon and made it great. Like they have done a great job with it. I will say that is something I am a little nervous about with classic WoW coming out, is that these are all raids, these are all bosses that people know the ins and outs of. They know on paper what you're supposed to do in order to win, and it's not as complex as what you have to do nowadays. Like, so I want to take an example real quick. And Steve, there was a boss that you guys were talking about where you get shrunk down into something.
Fucking Mechadork.
Yeah. Mechadork.
I call it. That's what I call
it. In like 30, let's say 45 seconds or less, try and describe all the mechanics that boss entails. Go.
All right. So in the first phase, again, I believe there are 2-3 phases of the fight. First phase, you got a big laser beam that you got to dodge. That basically will target some random person in the raid, and everyone just needs to get out of the raid. 3 people will get a bomb that they have to run behind these pillars or stones, and when it detonates, because if you don't, it could basically one-shot the whole raid. At the same time, the boss is dropping little robots, and people have to get into the robots once you get shrunk, because the robots will stun people. So then once you're in the robot on heroic difficulty, only the people in the robots can see what colors the other robots have, and you basically have to hit a sequence of 3 commands in order to self-detonate the robot. And once that's done, they blow up and basically clear out. All the while, the laser beam, other bombs are still going off at this point, and then he also does a move that'll suck everybody in the middle to where he's at, and you have to run away, because he'll jump up in the air and land and do an AoE splash. Then you get into phase 2, and sheep start popping out that
That was
explode.
not even
phase 1.
We're not even in phase 2. And by
I
the
was
way,
waiting-
we're at 90 seconds now.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was waiting for you just to go, oh my god, I've gone cross-eyed.
Yeah, no. So then it still keeps going. Everything in that phase still kind of carries forward, except now a lot of more people get shrunk. And also, while you're shrunk, you also got to watch where people are, because if you're big and somebody shrunk, you can run over somebody and pretty much kill them. So you got to be attentive to where you are, especially when he does the pull in, because everybody gets pulled in the center. So people who are big basically have to stand still, while the little people have to run out, and then the big people can run, because at the same time you got that big AOE that you got to get out of. Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, and that's not even like the last boss of the raid. Either.
Second to
That's
last boss.
Okay, so that's
third boss.
So that is the second to last boss. I just, by comparison, Onyxia, one of like the, wider known like difficulty skill check kind of raid bosses. I don't think this is just I can explain things quicker or better than Steve. I think it's a true test of showing it. 3 phases for Onyxia. First phase is on the ground. She's got a flame breath, a cleave, and she does a frontal cone of like a wing buffet thing.
Does she also do a tail swipe?
Yeah. Let me get there. Let me get there. Retail WoW.
Yeah.
And she's got a tail swipe if you stand at a bad spot. When she gets to, I think, 66%, I think phases are in thirds. 66%, we'll say, she flies in the air. She throws fireballs on the ground in random spots. She does a deep breath where you have to go to like the sides to avoid, and she summons whelps that people have to tank and kill. And while she's up there, you're still DPSing her to bring her to the ground. Phase 3 starts at 33%, I think we'll say. All the same stuff from phase 1, and she has a AoE roar that fears you, and she's like spews fire from the ground. That's it. It might not. That's like one of the skill checks in vanilla WoW, and it's not even that hard. It's not even that much stuff. So that is where I'm curious, is if people will get bored with it. If they're going to get bored with the stuff that they know, if they're going to be craving something new. Because everybody, I think, can agree that leveling and community elements of classic WoW are superior, but the rating is, I'm nervous about when people get max level and start getting into that part of the game, the deep end game of it, because I do think retail WoW wins there.
That's if people get to max level in classic.
That's true.
Fair point too.
If they make it to max level, if they make it there. So I think the other thing we wanted to jump into, and I would like to end this by going back to vanilla WoW, and I want to do like a little back and forth with Steve and Ian, but we wanted to jump into some other notable MMOs, and I think I'll let Steve take this one because he's played everything and anything. And
are we creating the perfect game? Because a lot of these games, there's elements that I wish you could kind of extract from and sort of put together into one MMO. Yeah. So I'll just rifle through all. MMO. Yeah. I'll rifle through all the MMOs I've played. I'm not going to talk about every one. So I played Guild Wars 2. I didn't really play the first Guild Wars. I played Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy 14, Aeon, Star Wars Old Republic, Rift, Neverwinter Nights, Conan, I believe it was Conan the Barbarian, Wildstar, and Vanguard. Those were sort of the base ones I've played. Now, a lot of those games have elements that I wish WoW could adopt from. One I want to talk about was Final Fantasy 14 and 11, actually. So one of the things I thought was really cool that 14 did, and this comes back to community, is you were allowed to, with your free company, and that was sort of like their guild, you could buy a house that the guild would all, like, it would share a plot of land with other guilds. So there was almost like this, again, sort of like this neighborhood where people could buy like waterfront property, but it would be expensive as all hell to buy that property. But then once you build it, you can sort of everybody can chip in and decorate this house, and it was almost like this place that everybody could sort of meet. So it added this nice sort of, I don't know, like It takes me like people getting drunk at like a tavern, kind of like that's how it felt.
Yeah.
Like everyone, there was a place for people to meet and hang out, and like WoW's tried to do it with Draenor with the what was it the
Garrisons.
the garrisons.
They weren't even close.
Right.
To what that
Yeah.
is.
Because again, it was your own garrison
Yeah.
that was separated from everybody else. So that's one thing I just did not like that WoW did, but I wish sort of future MMOs would do is sort of that free company housing. And the other one with 11 was skill change. So it was basically if I cast an ability, somebody else could use an ability after mine and would form a skill chain and would do more damage. So, but they had to mesh together. So there was this giant table. So there were classes that complemented each other. So if you did like a move, you could shout out to somebody else to do another move that they could chain into that, and then somebody else could chain into that move. So it added nice, like, I don't know, added like some diversity aside from popping a rotation. It kind of was different because again, it was unique in itself. And I thought that was really well done. I don't know. Ian, do you want to add on anything? Because I could keep talking about 11 all day.
No, I mean, I'm just keeping my mouth shut because I haven't played. The only Final Fantasy I played was 7 for like PlayStation. All
Yeah.
It's this,
Well,
but
which was the one that I played with you, Steve? Was that 11?
No, you played 14. And one thing I liked is with the characters is that your character could be any class. And you could sort of pick and choose. Like, you didn't necessarily have to re-roll another character. You could just sort of swap specs. And to get certain specs, you had to level a class to 30 and then go back and start another chain of quests and then level that all the way up. And I believe the cap's now like 70. But I thought that was one thing they did really well is like, if I wanted to be a healer, I could be a healer and have my own little healing spec. And then I could swap out and be my tank spec if I really wanted to. And you can almost be a jack of all trades if you really wanted to and just time crunch and spend your life leveling up everything. So I think that's a cool element that they bring to the table is if I wanted to create a WoW character, almost like that is my character that I could then be whatever I want to be and not necessarily have to re-roll or be something else. So you could, it has an ups and downs because I think you can see the negativity in that. But I see positive.
It seems like a cool idea though, because I mean, if people are going to roll multiple characters, if you could just kind of push them all onto one and it's still the same time, yeah, I could get behind that.
Yeah,
that's a thing we could put all together.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though, Steve, real quick. Sorry, Kirk, but like, what you're going off of? Like, I'm anti the whole. I like the whole aspect of you pick something, that's what you stick with, and you don't have the option to like. I'm not gonna keep hating on retail WoW, but anyway. But with like the free housing, company housing, is this like I haven't played the game, but I've always thought this was a cool thing, and I think this is what you're thinking of as well. Like when you have your guild or your free housing, like where your guild or your group, like that's your area, whereas like you share that area with like other groups that is essentially like your allies with your team, your other team. Like they're not your crew, but they're like in your neighborhood and they're gonna back. So it's kind of like sure online gang wars type thing.
You got like your online neighborhood of
and
people.
then you get like you're beefing with the horde or like whatever the other guys are, and it's like, you know what, Tuesday night, let's all get on and we're just gonna go fucking raid this guy. We're gonna raid this neighborhood and just like destroy that. And they log in and be like, oh shit, like I think that would be that's super cool. I would love that aspect too. And that brings it a whole back to like to the PvP, the player versus player aspect of these MMOs, which is super cool. And that's what I miss about, again, we keep always going back to classic WoW. It's like those things is what I miss, is like not only like the PvP aspect of player versus player, but the world aspect of it, where it's like you're literally engulfed in the world of this game, and like you're with a group of people going to do something, like either going to raid somebody's house or you're going to go raid Ogre Bar, or you're going to do something crazy like that. I think those things are super cool. Gives the game more of a community aspect and more of a reason to continue to keep playing. Like how many times you just want to come on to get your enchanting up to whatever you needed to do that week, and then you just log off until the next week or blah 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 blah.
Right. I told you about the one guy I played with. He was telling me about vanilla back in the day where they had this alliance that was sort of like this unspoken, there was no actual guild charter that anybody was like part of, but it was sort of like you whispered a person and they would invite you to a group, and the only way to get in the group was to know who the leader was, or they would see you PvP. Basically, they would say, all right, you would log on that day, he would message him, and then he would basically get an invite. And then they would just get this crew of people that would just go out and start wrecking hell.
Yeah, that's awesome.
World PvP wise. But again, there wasn't any sort of guild behind it. It was just all these players coming together. And the funny thing was, the only way to really know about it was this word of mouth. And you would almost kind of, the community and server itself, you would start to hear about these people by just, again, people getting grieved and all that shit.
No, there's nothing better than having like the community, something go to like the general chat and scream like, yo, Hordes or Alliance is coming in. Alliance is like raiding Orgrimmar. Alliances are Hordes raiding Ironforge. And you hear that and like you're in the other world like, oh shit. Now I'm going the closest flight path. I'm flying back and I'm getting into this big ass battle. That there's no game right now that has that aspect. And that's why I'm so hyped on Classic WoW, because if it is what I've been watching on the beta, like with all the streamers, it is going to be like that.
Yeah.
But I see where you're coming from Steve's point, because I can't comment on, I gave up on WoW and Warlords of Draenor for the sheer fact, like I think Kirk only maybe mentioned it briefly when he was discussing the Onyxia fight. And what Steve was going on for 45 minutes about whatever the hell that boss was. Those are the kinds of things, like we were listening to him, like we go back, listen to everything he was saying. Just what I want you to know is all that shit that was going on, he didn't even talk about what you were supposed to be doing as a character.
Right.
You're supposed to be either tanking him, you're supposed to be DPSing him, you're supposed to be healing people the entire time while doing all this other shit. That's why, like, I couldn't do it. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm ADD, like video game ADD, or just general. Like, if there's too much stuff going on, like, I get overwhelmed. And then with the group aspect, if I mess up, because I'm always going to mess up, wipe the raid or something, try to blame it on somebody. If I can't blame it on somebody, they know it's me, and they're going to get upset with me, and then I'm going to get all flustered. And it's like, that's too much shit going on.
Yeah.
So that's why I personally think, like, I'm devil's advocate for what's Kirk saying. It's like, I'm excited for the sort of easier rating, but I never did that. So I did not play vanilla. This would be my first experience.
Well, I think it's not even just, I guess the way that I'm trying to phrase it is that it's not necessarily easier. It's just, I think more familiar is probably a better word that I would go with. Not that like it's easy, because I mean, there's definitely fights that are going to be in Classic WoW that are a bitch and a half. Just the first
40 people.
Yeah, 40 people.
That's crazy in general, right there. Just try to get 40 people to do one thing together. I mean, that's pretty tough.
Yeah, 40 versus what is it, 20, 25, something like that now.
Yeah,
Steve?
I mean, Mythic groups start at 20. And with WoW, the good part again with WoW today is there's flex raid. So again, if you got 15 people or 12 people, you could still raid with 12 people, and the bosses scale to that. Now, I don't know with Classic, is it going to be, you got your 10-mans, your 25? That's
not going to be the play.
Like,
look at this guy.
I don't know how it goes.
That's Kirk. You're cute. No, there is no 10 or anything like that in Classic.
It's just 40. Like, that's
well,
all it is.
No. So take it from a guy who played it. Not from a guy who's been watching streams about it. There are 20-man raids, or there is a 20-man raid. Zul'Gurub's actually 20 people only. It's 20 people, and then when and if it, I imagine it will, but Encourage, when the gates of Encourage open, that's like a way later patch. That has a 20-man like doorway and a 40-man doorway. It's not like they're very, very different dungeons though. It's not the same like raid at all. It's just like Encourage 20 versus Encourage 40, but they're very different raids. It's not like they share the same boss. So it's the same themes and everything, but none of the bosses, I think somebody will fact check me after this, but I don't think any of the bosses are the same on that.
Yeah. Now, I must say, I think Burning Crusade fixed a lot of problems with vanilla. So I have a feeling like with Classic, again, are you locked into Classic, or do you think Blizzard will then start to be like, hey, we'll release BC as its own server, or like, do you have to pay for a character transfer?
Have you
like,
watched the stream, Steve? You're nailing exactly. Like, it's like that's the biggest conversation going on right now with everybody in the stream world. is with Classic is once they fully like they're gonna do it. I think Kirk, because you originally played like the whole PvP aspect and the rating aspect, it was like phased out over time. Like once Classic drops, you're not gonna be able to like I don't think you're gonna be able to jump into Warsong Gulch or Wrathy Highlands just yet. All the raids aren't gonna be available yet. They're like rolling it out just like it was the original release of the game.
Yeah, there was patches where they dropped new stuff. So like so I didn't play when it first released. I think it came out late 2004, and I picked it up probably around June of 2005. So probably like 6 months after the game came out. But they they rolled things out in patches, and but that's the thing is like the patches were like so big and so exciting. I mean, when they released the Gates of Ancrage, they had this entire server wide. I mean, people always talk about the Gates of Ancrage opening and all that. A lot of people are, see videos of it and, weren't actually there. I remember when that patch dropped and I was just like, what the hell is happening? Like, it was so new and so like interesting, and you didn't know what was going to happen and what these gates meant and what fighting over there was going to do. It was a big sense of wonderment, and I think that's what's going to be fun about Classic WoW coming out again.
Yeah. And I'll play Classic because it's included with the subscription that I'm already paying for, so it's of no cost to me because I don't think there's no retail price of the game. It's not like I have to pay $20 for Classic and then it's already included in my subscription. I just download it. Yeah.
Is that confirmed? Do we know that for sure?
It is confirmed. It's going to be rolled out in phases like the original, but the whole thing is the whole debate. What's not confirmed is, well, it's interesting. I think BlizzCon last year when they brought up Classic, one of the streamers asked like, "What's the deal with Burning Crusade?" And like the top guys or the top brass were like, "Not even a thought. Like don't even ask that question." But they went back to the recent one or BlizzCon and they asked that same question again. They're like, "Yeah, Burning Crusade is definitely on the table." But the thing is, what you guys were saying is they're going to roll, essentially, from my understanding, WoW Classic is going to go through the phased thing, through its phased route, and it's going to end where it ended before Burning Crusade came out. So the question is do you think Blizzard should stick with WoW Classic and create new content for WoW Classic, or roll a new server into Burning Crusade? I mean, this is what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, I think Classic has to stay Classic because that's what people are paying for.
Most of the streamers are saying the easy bet, easy bet is go roll out Burning Crusade.
So roll out Burning Crusade, and then they'll make their money by like, oh, we'll copy your character for $20, and then you can transfer him over onto the BC server. So come on over if you want to play.
That's the way I would want to do it. I don't think they could add new content to the Classic game. I think it's just going to bring everybody back. And I think I'm all on board with WoW Classic. I jumped into the WoW Worlds and Burning Crusade, so this is going to be all new to me. But Burning Crusade was awesome. So if they redid that again, I'll be all on board for that as well. Yeah. So geez, I can keep talking about this forever.
I think everybody could keep talking about that forever. But we're gonna wrap it up here, and I wanna just fire off one last thing and kind of in like a debate fashion here. We're gonna have Steve on retail WoW and Ian on classic WoW. I want to do a quick debate. We're actually going to limit this to let's say 30 seconds a piece, and try and plead your case on this topic and why it's better or why this is the one that you should be playing. All right. So we're going to start as if like we're jumping into the world. It's a fresh new character. We'll start with Steve for.
Wait, I have a question. Do you want to be a part of this? Because we could do a town hall.
What does that mean?
We could do I would ask you, and you would each have 30 seconds to answer.
I mean, I don't know which one Kirk would argue for.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I wanted. I'm listening.
I know what he's going to argue for. He's going to be on my side.
He's on the classic side.
That's what I want to know.
You got Ian, who's heavy on the classic, and then you got me, who's like, I play retail because I've already invested this much.
I think it just has to be me versus Steve. No offense.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it.
Going fucking down.
And then can you transition into the end? Ian, I want you to talk about how you went on Dick's After Hours to talk about Game of Thrones, because you guys always talk about Game of Thrones here. I want you to do that. And then I want to be in the end for 10 seconds because I just got 2 kills while you guys were fucking playing. So I'm amped on it. Anyways, all right. Go ahead.
All right, sorry, Kirk, you want to take it back from that?
Yeah,
question?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll start the question over. All right, but I wanna do a truly debate style of retail WoW that we have going on right now. Steve will be representing that, and Ian will be representing Classic WoW. I'm gonna throw a topic at you. We'll start with the veteran of retail WoW, and then the rebuttal of Classic WoW.
Born again.
Born again. Classic WoW. Have you?
I
heard
got
about
the timer out.
figure?
I'm gonna throw my hand up, Steve, when it's 30 seconds.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right.
We'll do 30 seconds. I'm gonna throw a topic out there. It's gonna be broad, so you can take it how you want.
Okay.
First topic: combat and gameplay. Go.
So with combat and retail WoW, I think there's a lot of diversity because again, you have all these new classes. You got the demon hunters, you got the monks, you even got the Death Knight, stuff that old WoW doesn't have, but they kind of perfected that over time. So I definitely think the combat, especially in terms of original raids, it's definitely a lot more complex. And even the PvP nowadays is, I don't even compete with that, especially when you get in arenas because people are savages. I mean, you could get sapped and not move for, yeah, damn
it. Ian, your rebuttal to combat in Classic WoW. Go.
Combat in Classic WoW, hands down, a million times better because as everything Steve just said, it's overwhelming in the current retail. There's too much stuff going on. You have too many options to do. You can be how many different classes, blah, blah, all this kind of nonsense. That's not what you want. You want to log in. You want to create your character. You want to own that character. You want to be in the world of Warcraft as that character. You don't want to be worrying about your 18th set of armor, your 20th set of armor, your enchants for this one, all that nonsense. No, you're a gnome warlock. That's what I'm going to be. Boomaye, I think that's what I'm going to call myself, and that's what I'm going to focus on, being a war. I still think I did better.
That's what it is.
I don't know. We'll go to the comments and how people feel about that combat and gameplay for those. All right, next one. We're gonna do let's say 2 more.
Okay.
Not 3 more.
I like
next one. We'll go to Ian first, talking about Classic WoW, and then Steve's rebuttal. Dungeons. Go.
Dungeons are, again, hands down so much better because it actually causes skill and teamwork. No longer you can't just run through dungeons as a paladin tank, aggroing everybody, getting them and AoEing them down in 2 seconds. What you need to do is have a full competent group of 5 people, and you need to mark, you need to CC. It's more teamwork. It's like a dance, as Kirk would say. Whereas WoW right now is 5 random idiots can just run into a dungeon and do it in 2 seconds. Whereas this is an enjoyable experience you're having with your friends. WoW Classic, final answer.
Oof.
Oh,
yeah.
there it is.
And with 2 seconds to spare.
That was perfect.
Wow. All right, Steve, your rebuttal.
So, I have to give it to Classic because I think one of the things they do well is sort of the attunement and unlocking of things within a dungeon. I think that was a really cool aspect that Classic has over retail WoW. You do have, I think, back in Legion when, what was that one place called? Shit, I'm drawing a blank. You had to get a tune for it. Karazhan. You got to get a tune for Karazhan in order to raid in it. Now, I will say with Mythic, it is pretty complex, so you do have to have 5 people that are competent, and you can't chain pull. So
there she is.
All right, another good one. All right, so jumping off of that one, that was a good back and forth. We'll go into, and I think this one might be a little tough for Ian, but we'll start with Steve on this. Raiding.
Oh yeah. Oh man. So raids are really complex now, and I think that's what adds the satisfying aspect to it because the kills are very satisfying because I think we wiped for 3 weeks on one boss, and when we finally got it down, it was the best feeling ever. So there's definitely a lot of layers of complexity when it comes to retail WoW nowadays that I don't know how Classic will kind of compare to. Because again, you have to watch fat boss guides and everything before going into a fight nowadays. You can't just go in blind. Boom! I hit that
All
right on
right,
the
good.
timer.
That was good. Right on the timer. Ian, your rebuttal to rating.
And go. Rating is actually the one thing that I will side with Steve on here. I feel like retail, even though I haven't done it, as long as you have a group of good people, which he does, I think that's super enjoyable. It's frustrating, but like he said, when you finally get that boss down, it's such a cool feeling. But I'm just hands down more WoW Classic because I'm dumb and stupid. I can't do all those things that he was just talking about in the beginning of the show. I'd rather have a couple mechanics and do it that way. I just get too overwhelmed with too many things going on. So I got 3 more seconds. So hey, Kirk, how you doing?
Ooh.
Oh,
No, that's fair. That's fair. I like both those answers. I think and the thing about this is that, while it's a debate style, it's more about they have different things that they shine in.
Yeah.
I mean, they appeal to different types of audiences, and I think that's why we're able to talk about this, is because they're both fantastic, and it's fun and exciting, and people will have their pick in August. But last topic we're gonna go into, I'll have Ian start this and Steve rebuttal. PvP, go.
PvP Classic again is hands down. It brings back the whole community aspect where people are working together to do these whole things within the world. They're not queuing up to do these auto arenas, or they're not queuing up to do battlegrounds and stuff like that. They're actually queuing up with people that they're seeing in the World of Warcraft, as we would say. It's just an overall better experience, in my hands down opinion. It's just too easy. The whole looking for a group thing, bullshit. That's it. Sorry, I was reading something on my phone.
He was checking something else out. No. That's fair. I respect that answer.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, rebuttal, go.
So with retail WoW, you can now kind of toggle between PvE and PvP. So when I was going questing in PvP, people were greeting me by camping the quest turn in. So I could easily teleport back, turn off PvP, and go back and turn in the quest without having people all up my ass. So in that aspect, I like the retailness, but I do think Classic WoW shines because, again, I think the community is a lot stronger. And again, when cities are getting raided, which never happens anymore these days, it's definitely sort of like this community, let's get together and fight off these bastards.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hot topics, good debates. I'm excited about everything that the future of WoW holds. Classic WoW, additional expansions. It's a game that I think we all, whenever it comes out, whether we're currently playing or not, it's something that catches people's attention to be like, ooh, maybe I'll try it again. Or, yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm going to continue playing. It's a uniqueness that not too many other games can say that they do, which is why we're spending all this time diving into it, which we'll spend more time over the next couple of months, because I think Ian will be tied off in an alley with a gamer mag if this game doesn't come out soon.
And also, we got you dropped the news to us that you're going to E3 this year, Kirk, right?
I am.
Yeah.
Thanks to my job and
Got boots on the ground.
Yeah, I'll be boots on the ground in LA in two weeks. I think I'm going. I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I'll do a recording from there, from West Coast time. We'll see how that goes.
We'll figure that out.
Super excited about it. But this has been a fun episode. I want to wrap it up. One of the things that we found out during this recording is that our lovely producer was, instead of keeping us time-stamped and yelling at us to wrap it up, she was busy knocking out kills in Fortnite Mobile. So she wanted to jump in and braggadociously talk about it.
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, that I'm coming for all of your thrones, especially you, Ian, because you all made fun of me for being a mobile Fortnite player, but I've really stepped it up. I threw down a little cash. I got some skins. I got the spectral harvesting tool because it's rainbow and I love it. Ooh. I also got an emote, which is the glitter emote. Have you seen that one yet?
The glitter? Probably.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out last night.
Most likely. A glitter, you're paying for skins? Are you paying for emotes? Because you can't buy them.
Yes,
unlock
you can.
Oh, so you're buying things now?
Yeah.
I thought you make fun of people for buying things.
No, I just told you that
All
I
right.
threw down a little cash, not a lot. Threw down $10. I got a skin and I got an emote and I got my little axe. I'm really excited about it. But I was telling you guys before that I'm interested to see what happens. I went and I bought one of those mobile controllers, so it literally has like a selfie stick style phone holder on what looks like an Xbox controller. It was $25 on Amazon. It
Oh,
connects
wow.
through Bluetooth. So we'll see.
You
'Cause
know, you
my
could
biggest
just
weakness-
save another, $170 and just buy a console and then be
Yeah.
done with the phone.
I know, but
Makes
then I
sense.
have to get a monitor. Like, I don't want to.
You don't
I
need
don't
a
want to mess.
monitor.
You need
Get
a
a
TV.
Switch. Get a Switch. It's perfect. It'll take place right on your phone. You won't even notice the difference.
All right.
Someday
Maybe
we'll
someday.
get there.
I just want to, honestly, I want to see how I do with the controller, because my biggest weakness in Fortnite, and anyone who plays with me will tell you, I can't build, because on mobile, no matter how you, like, I even tried to do my HUD layout tool differently. I tried to put those little shortcut things on the screen. It doesn't make a difference. It saves me maybe like a 100th of a second, but that's nothing. So I want to see how I do with a controller, because historically, I can't do controllers. I can't steer. I don't understand. There's too many buttons. I'm a button smasher. Like, I'm the first to admit it. I'm a button smasher. So we will see what happens. But I also wanted to ask you guys if you knew about this. There's like a motion thing in Fortnite if you play on mobile. So if you turn it on and you turn to the left, your viewpoint turns to the left. So it's sort of like VR.
Oh.
Did you guys know that?
I did not know that.
I do not.
I
Ooh,
don't know anything about
shaken
Fortnite.
I don't know. I don't mobile any games
All right.
except Boom
Well,
Beach. Okay,
well,
Boom Beach.
and
right.
Kingdom Rush. That was a solid game too.
Well, it was interesting. I just discovered it last night, so I decided to give it a try. And if you're on auto shoot and you're on mobile, like auto fire, and you have the motion thing on, it is kind of cool because you can just move it. You can literally look at an enemy and just shoot the crap out of them as long as you have a gun out. But the problem is, of course, like, if you're sort of laying down and then you're like, oh, I should get up now, it doesn't change. It just keeps looking up at the sky, and that's not what you want to do. But yeah, no, I'm getting really into Fortnite. Like, it's bad. It's really bad.
Shout out
You
your
know-
homies.
Yeah,
Your
shout
homies.
out the
Oh yeah.
shout out the
I
next
need
generation.
to. Okay, so we'll end this episode with a heartwarming tale. These guys call me the Mother Goose of Fortnite. They were right. I changed my name. It's Nacho_girlfriend because it's kid friendly and whatever. I play with these little dudes who I'm not going to name because we got to protect the little ones, but I play with these awesome little dudes that are based here in the US. They're like super young, but these guys are so freaking good. So last week I got on after a long day and they were like, Samantha, guess what? I said, what? They're like, we found Game Over today on YouTube and we listened to every single episode. And I really like Steve and Bern because they like WoW and I like WoW. Oh, well, I like Ian because Ian likes Fortnite and I like Fortnite. And so then, and it was just the cutest thing in the world. So then
No
they
one likes
kicked
Kirk.
it. No, that's not true. No, because here comes Kirk. So then they decided to kick it up a notch. They're like, let's go in squads. There was 3 of us. They said, let's go in squads and do Phil. So we get someone in there we don't know. And let's pretend that we're on the podcast so everyone will know it. So we get into this thing. This poor dude comes into our party and they're like, okay. I'm going to be Kirk and you be Steve and you be Sarah. I'm like, okay. So they're like, hi, everyone. Welcome back to Game Over. We've been discussing a lot of things, and we're going to keep discussing them because this is a podcast that streams everywhere, but we watch it on YouTube. So, okay, let's discuss. And for 5 minutes straight, these kids talked like you guys. They were talking like they were on a show. They were talking all about what was going on with Tfue. They were talking about the new skins and the new emotes in Fortnite. They were talking about some other stuff that was happening in gaming. It was the cutest thing that I have experienced in a long time. I was sure to let you guys know the moment it went down because I thought it would give you such a giggle. Because we knew when you guys started this that there was a really good chance that you'd have a pretty sizable audience between the ages of like 10 and 15. And we didn't know how quickly that would come, but that's the demographic for you guys right now that's really pulling ahead. So shout out to all my little dudes on Fortnite, and thank you so much for the compliment. We're so glad that you guys like our show.
Shout out to the little
Yeah.
homies and
Tell your
whatever
friends.
kids were like, we're playing WoW. Come find us when Classic WoW comes out. We'll play
I'll be
with
there.
you. We'll level it up.
I'll be there.
Because I was probably not far off from your age when the original WoW came out, and I would have loved to have somebody show me around and tell me what to do before I was
Hell
wander
yeah.
around aimlessly. So
Parents.
yeah,
Awesome.
tell
All right.
your friends. Talk
Yeah.
about it in class.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about it in class. Keep inviting, like, for those of you who play Fortnite with me, like, keep inviting your random little friends into our games and talking about our podcast. They literally do. Like, I will go on and I'll send one of them a game request, and then all of a sudden they send me one. So I'm like, okay. So I go in and I'm in like a team rumble with 12 kids, and they're like, Samantha's here. Samantha, this is the one. She's the one that's famous. She streams. I'm like, I really don't stream, but thank you. It's really, really cute. So we're happy to be role models, and there's worse shit that your kids could be listening to. Let's be perfectly honest about that. But anyways, guys, fantastic episode. I want to compliment you, congratulate you on episode 8. It's nuts, right? You guys are getting really
Episode
good
8.
at this.
Flies by.
I know.
My God.
Do you have any idea what you might be talking about next week?
I'll do some research and look into things. Probably, maybe hypothesize what to expect from E3. There's a lot of big players that aren't there this year, so I'm curious, or kind of hoping a wish list of games that I hope kind of get announced. So I'll probably put a list of that.
Thank you, Steve. Kirk, what was the big announcement that you couldn't tell us?
So I still can't tell you because it got pushed back. I'm sorry, but it got pushed back. It was supposed to be announced a week ago today, May 21st, but they decided to hold back the announcement in conjunction with something later in June. I think
damn.
something coincidentally is launching that's similar enough that they wanted to include it both. So bated breath, another month.
Damn. All right,
when I
that's
know
fine.
more, I'll let you know.
Now, Ian, usually when you guys end this episode, you're talking about Game of Thrones. Ian decided to kick it up a notch. Why don't you talk about what you did this week?
I was a lucky guest on Dixon Politics After Dark, and it's actually funny. After Hours.
Do we have to change the name?
After
Dark. Literally,
That's what they say on
Adriana and
Twitch.
Abby keep calling it Dicks After Dark. And I'm like,
Twitch is After Dark. A lot of people do that. That's why I keep saying it probably. But I'm looking at my phone now because I'm just reading. Kit Harington reportedly checked himself into a rehab facility due to the stress of Game of Thrones and alcohol use.
Oh, no.
Look what the show did to him.
That's
what it did
awful.
to me, what it did to him.
Hey, kid, I'm about to join you and develop a problem to cope with how bad the show was.
So if you guys want to tune into something, that was a really fun time with Abby and Mike talking about Game of Thrones for a little bit.
Can you describe who Abby and Mike are?
I thought they've been Abby's from It's Bro Time and Mike from Microscope.
Well, honey, your audience doesn't know that. You have to explain it to them.
That's the other two shows under the WYSP umbrella. So if you haven't checked those two out, check those two out. But yeah, we had a little conjunction of the three of us.
You had an explosion of the three of you. I've never heard 3 angrier people ever about a show. But it was really good. Yeah, the whole premise behind Dixon Politics After Hours is that it's open to anyone and everyone at Whatever You Say Productions to come together and talk about whatever they want. It's unedited, unscripted, unfiltered. And those 3 decided that they wanted to talk about Game of Thrones. And I sat there in horror as I listened. Guys, congratulations on episode 8. Looking forward to next week. I think that Mr. Steve is going to be not only hosting that episode, but also directing it. This is going to be the first time that I am not present for a recording of yours.
So come join me.
You can put director on your resume now. But seriously, guys, congratulations. Great show, great content. Love it. Well, thanks everyone so much for tuning in to Game Over. To our fans far and wide, we see you up in Canada. We see you over in Europe. We see you in China. We see you down in Latin America. Can't thank you enough for joining us every Thursday. Once again, my name's Samantha.
My name is Kirk.
What about the people down under? But my name is Steve.
My name is Ian. Thanks for tuning in.
our 3 Australian listeners, one of which is your friend.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are his daughters.
I see what you're doing on that screen, by the way, Steve.
Amazing. We'll save that for next week. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
Later.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to Game Over. Brought to you by Whatever You Say Productions, starting conversations since 2018. To learn more, join us at GameOverThePodcast.com.